when did swimming really start for you?
Swimming's kind of always been in my life. My mom swam in college, so it was kind of always a part of our household, and just like, taking swimming lessons from a very early age. I didn't start swimming competitively till I was 7, though, even though I wanted to start swimming earlier. My parents wouldn't let me. But yeah, it's kind of just like, it's always been around.
And when did you realize that you could be a dominant force in the pool at this point?
I think I probably thought that when I was 7. I was like, okay, I'm going to be the best at this, just like every little leaguer thinks they're going to be in the MLB. But not actually until I was probably about 16 did I realize how good I could actually be.
Mm-hmm. And when you progressed through your time before college, when did you realize that Indiana was going to be the perfect place for you to kind of develop?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really realize that till I took an unofficial recruiting trip here my junior year of high school. And I really didn't want to go to Indiana at all. I wanted to go somewhere south. I wanted to get away from home, leave, start over, the typical getting away to college experience. But Ray convinced me to take a recruiting trip here, and I did, and I absolutely fell in love with it. And that's kind of when it started to really be on my radar for places I wanted to go to school. And then, we keep coming up through senior year, and it's getting time to, commit and finally decide where I'm going to school. And I realized I don't really want to go that far from home. And this was actually, honestly, despite the location for me, it was really the best option. So obviously it turned out fine. So I'm really glad I ended up here.
What's your relationship with Ray? And of course, he just won Coach of the Year. How has he helped you develop?
Ray and I have a very interesting relationship. It has we've had our ups and downs. My freshman year, we were like button heads every day at practice, and now we've been through so much together. We've gotten a lot closer, and I'd say it's a stormy relationship, but it's very productive. So we have no trouble screaming at each other, but we also have no trouble collaborating with each other, and we both know what's best for me. So I think we try to work together as well as we can, even though we do sometimes disagree on things.
And what's the dynamic being in a program like Indiana where you're not the only talented swimmer, where it's such a dynamic, dominant program?
Yeah, it's really neat because you do have, obviously I'm on the upper level of experience now, but when I was a freshman, I wasn't. So it's really nice to be able to have the professionals that we have here, and then also the freshmen who bring just such a new energy, and they're so excited for everything. And but it's just a lot of different perspectives to have, and it's really nice to be able to train with that every day.
Now you come to Indiana, and your first year, you're Big Ten Swimmer of the Year, and you're immediately successful. Is that something that kind of caught you off guard, or were you ready for that?
I was ready for that. Going into my freshman year of college, so the summer after my senior year of high school, I was second at World University Games, even though I wasn't in college. They let me go. But yeah, I was second at World University Games, and then I was second at U.S. Summer Nationals. And the time that I went at Nationals that summer would have been third at World Championships. So coming in, I was prepared to swim fast and to swim well, and I was sitting third going into Olympic trials. So I don't think it caught me off guard. I was just kind of waiting for those swims to happen, and they did at the exact right time. So it was pretty cool.
Well, you started successful and you obviously maintained that success, but how has your dynamic on the team almost as a leader changed from freshman year to now?
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier that I was so inexperienced as a freshman, and I was just going in so blind to everything, and everything was new and exciting. And now I've been there. It's not quite as exciting anymore, but I can offer advice to those who are younger than me and the swimmers on our team that look up to me. So it's really cool to be a leader figure on the team and just be able to help where I can, because I love doing that.
And you mentioned, I guess, that the excitement level kind of dips a little bit after national championship, after national championship, after national championship. But how do you stay motivated?
Yeah, I just try to keep chasing new times, breaking new barriers. Every time I go up best time now, it's a new world record, new American record. So it's okay, great, it's a new world record. But really, in my head, it's just a new best time. So it's kind of cool that I'm to that point, but it's also kind of difficult, again, trying to stay motivated. But we like to play games a lot, race people, mess with people's heads, do kind of weird stuff like that, but that's kind of how I stay motivated.
Now, I can't really ask this question to a lot of people in the world, but what does it mean to you to be just the title of the fastest in the pool?
It's cool. It's great point when I'm arguing with someone, to be honest. It's like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. They're like, yes, I do. I'm like, well, I mean, I would know the best because I'm the fastest in the world. I usually don't pull it out unless I have to, but yeah, it's, I haven't really thought about that much, to be honest. Like, it's pretty special, just because, I'm only 21 and I've already, set 2 individual world records and 3 relay world records. I can't talk. World record is hard to say. You don't realize that until you have to say it all the time. But yeah, it's pretty.
How many times do people ask you to say world record?
I guess they don't, but when you think about it, like when I do have to say world record, I have to like be very articulate. I just can't just say world record because it doesn't come out right.
Another question I can't ask a lot of people is, what is the feeling of winning a gold medal? What is that emotion, the initial reaction to your first one?
Okay, so I think my gold medal journey was a little different than most people just because I had raised such a hoopla over this anti-drug campaign that I hadn't really planned on doing. And there was really just a lot of pressure on me to win, because if I had kind of run my mouth like I did and not won, it would have not turned out well for me. So I think honestly for me, just the first feeling when I touched the wall and realized I won was just relief, because I wasn't gonna have to retract what I had said and things like that. So honestly, yeah, I was just relieved, and I really just felt like I was at another swim meet. Like when you're watching the Olympics on TV, you've got the music and the broadcast and all this, but when you're there in person, it's really just another swim meet. So I was so blind going in, I had no idea what was happening, and I was just glad to be there.
Well, you mentioned being so young when you won that gold and the whole media storm that kind of surrounded the experience. How did you handle that at such a young age?
Looking back, I didn't really handle it very well. I thought I spoke well and did what I could, but when I got back to the village, and I had to go to sleep, I had more races, I had another relay to swim, and I got back and I was on my phone. I was like, oh my God, look, they all love me. And then I was getting some like Russian hate messages, and I was like, oh, I can't read that, so whatever. But it was honestly like something I could have handled better, I think, at that point. And I realized that this summer. Like this summer, I deleted all the social media off my phone during the meet just so I wouldn't get distracted, because sleep is such a big thing when you have an 8-day swim meet, that getting distracted by media is just not necessary.
Now, after that experience at the Olympics, you have to come back to school. What's that adjustment like, and how difficult is it?
Yeah, when I got back, I got asked that question a lot. They're like, how's school? I'm like, I feel great. A couple months down the road, I realized I didn't feel great. Coming back was not fun. Didn't want to be here, didn't really want to be swimming, had no motivation to do anything. And I finally realized that about January, after I lost at World Championships in December. And I was like, okay, something's not right. Like, I need to turn it around. So luckily, got with my coaches, and we were kind of talking through it. And we had a whole slew of people that were in a post-Olympic slump, because we had, 11 people make the Olympic team. So we had, a ton of people that were like, I don't really want to do this. And eventually we all kind of talked and worked our way through it. But yeah, it was not a fun adjustment coming back.
Well, what are some of the specific things that you guys talked about and what you focus on to improve?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was just the fact that I finally realized I wasn't okay, and I was not motivated. It was a place I hadn't really been in before. And just working through that and just keep working at practice, because even if you're not in the mood to swim fast, you can still work hard at practice and it'll turn out better down the road. So I think that was a big thing that we worked on.
Now, one other individual that won gold along with you was Cody Miller, and he's been around training with you guys. What's your relationship really with him?
Cody's like my brother, to be honest. We are probably closer than most people would care for us to be, I guess. But I don't know, we're just like frickin' frack. Like, we're just goofy together, and we swim every practice together, and we swim the same events, and it's just a great relationship. He really started out as a total mentor to me, but now that we're kind of getting closer, I guess, at least competition-wise, that it's kind of more of like a partnership relationship that we have. So it's pretty cool. I mean, I get to swim with another Olympic gold medalist every day, and one with a great attitude, so it's really fun to swim with him.
If Cody started as your mentor, now that you're a junior, are you kind of a mentor for anybody else on the team?
I hope so. I guess, well, I was the only junior captain this year, so all of our seniors are now done swimming, so I guess I'm the sole captain, which is kind of frightening for the team. Not for me so much, but I think for their sake it's a little scary. But yeah, you know, we get a lot of people that come in and they're kind of, you know, they're going to be afraid of upperclassmen, but then you've got, you know, me and the other girls that have been swimming so fast, and they're definitely going to be afraid. So I think just getting them to realize that, you know, sometimes the leaders on the team are just like you, and we have, you know, we struggle through practice and we struggle through being in college just like everybody else, and I think that really helps them just to, you know, stay motivated and keep going.
Now, of course, it takes a lot to be the best, of course, so what really is your training regimen?
Specifically, I have 10 swim sessions a week. I lift 3 times, I get a massage once a week. Got some pretty nasty cupping marks on my back right now, so. But a lot of like behind the scenes stuff. So, you know, eating well, which I wasn't really notorious for earlier in my career, but I'm getting better. You know, taking care of your body, stretching, getting massage done, you know, just things like that that really putting in the work behind the scenes helps, you know, those 10 swim workouts a week, because it is pretty daunting.
And of course, it's probably a very time-consuming process, but what's life for Lilly King like outside of the pool, outside of training?
I sleep a lot, to be honest. Yeah, and just like, I mean, I guess the normal college life, except I don't have free time other than that. But, you know, I feel like I do have a social life. You know, I swim 5 hours a day, so I see my teammates you know, for 5 hours a day pretty much. So I have that social aspect, I guess. I don't live with a swimmer, so that's helpful. We have a dog, so I take care of my dog sometimes. I play the piano every once in a while. But yeah, it's mostly sleeping and watching TV.
Your resume and list of achievements is extensive, but what do you think is the greatest achievement of yours, and what are you most proud of?
The one I'm probably most proud of, I'd say probably the 100 breast world record from this summer. You know, the gold medal is great, but usually the world records aren't set at the Olympics, which is surprising. It's just a very different atmosphere, and there are a lot of other things behind the scenes at the Olympics you don't notice, but people don't typically swim as fast there. So this summer we were really shooting for that world record, and I was just really happy I could get that, because now I'm officially the fastest. And you know, adding world record holder to your name is pretty neat. So I think that one's definitely the winner.
Do you feel pressure anymore?
Yeah, I do. I do occasionally have a race where someone like comes up and is like, oh, I'm like, oh wait, why are they so close to me? Or something like that. Like, and I still don't always win the 200 breaststroke. So like this summer I was 4th at Worlds in the 200 breaststroke, and not even the top American, which was a little frustrating for me. But, you know, same deal at NCAA's this year, swim the 200 breast. The girl who beat me at Worlds this summer is, you know, right on my tail for that 200 breaststroke. So there are definitely things to still work on, but yeah, we're getting there.
Who's the coolest person you've interacted with or met because of all these experiences at the Olympics and the media firestorm?
Yeah, oh, there have been a lot. I mean, meeting the president was cool, but yeah, that was pretty neat, but it was kind of just like a handshake, like, hey, great job. I was like the 400th Olympian he'd talked to that day. But I met Reggie Miller last year, and Reggie's like my boy. Like I got him on speed dial, we're pretty tight, so I think meeting Reggie is probably the best.
And you guys both get a lot of comparisons because you're trash talking.
Oh yeah.
How much pride do you take in your ability to talk trash?
I love it. I think that kind of sets me apart from a lot of other swimmers, because swimming typically is more of like a country club sport. Like everyone's very nice and civil, and that's just not really my personality. I'm more of a, you know, like get in your face, like be aggressive, let's add something, you know, to this sport. Like we're just swimming with our heads in the water the whole time, and like, you know, talking trash gets people excited. It gets more people involved in watching the sport, and I just enjoy it, to be honest. So yeah, I think it's fun. I love, you know, talking trash, and it's always, you know, it's never too spiteful. I'm usually just playing around, but it's fun.
Now, what are your expectations for the future? What are you looking forward to with the Olympics, of course, in 2020? And what have you learned from your previous experience that kind of can change your approach?
Yeah, I think just going in, I'll know how to handle it better, maybe like the media side of things. I think I've like figured that out at this point. But at the Olympics, like the village is so widespread that you can just you just walk around every day, probably walking 5, 6, 7 miles every day. When usually like when we're resting, it's okay, only take the elevator, only walk to the bus, only, you don't walk, like stay off your legs. And at the Olympics, you can't do that just because you have to walk to get everywhere. So I think part of that will be helpful. And just, I think Tokyo is just going to be a better location. So the food's probably going to be a little bit better than it was in Rio because it was just a little bit sketchy. But I think that's going to be really helpful, just the behind the scenes stuff for the Olympics, because it is so different than every other competition.
And then lastly, what's left to achieve?
Good question. I guess in NCAA swimming, I've got 2 more titles to win. Go 8 for 8, so that's going to be pretty neat. Only a few people have done that before, and no breaststroker's ever done that before. So that's what I'm looking forward to, at least for collegiate season, and then hopefully get the world record in the 200 breaststroke. So I'll be able to have all 3. Having the set kind of being the undisputed greatest, I guess, would be pretty sweet. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's all I got left.